Hacking Uncertainty, a counterintuitive code for resilience during times of disruption and change. And given the times which we are currently in with the coronavirus, this is probably an unprecedented time in global history where uncertainty has raised its head a great deal, and people and organizations are trying to determine how they're going to come out of this curve. It's like being a race car driver driving 150 miles per hour, and you're trying to determine, how do I accelerate, out of the curve? And so uncertainty has raised its head. This uncertainty often blankets us well before change arrives, like a descending fog that marks a shift in weather. Uncertainty reduces variability, visibility to the future. It blurs the situation at hand, and it raises a whole new set of questions. So today, I'm going to provide you with some solutions as to how to deal with uncertainty and ambiguity in the time of change, because we are truly at the intersection of intellect and instinct. And oftentimes, during that time, it is our counterintuitiveness that will guide us well. So let us begin. Change. Sometimes you see it coming. Other times, you get a feeling inside, the vague sense that something big and something different is coming down. But now, then it takes you by total surprise. Regardless of how it approaches, change usually comes with a traveling companion, and that companion is uncertainty. Uncertainty. Here, let me get back to this screen. There we go. It is uncertainty, and it is unmanageable. You can't manage it. Uncertainty, you have to seek control to try to rearrange it, but it's tough to rearrange because it's like rearranging the fog. So what is manageable? What is your focus? You have to focus on you. The power in managing you, there is power in managing you because you are free to control yourself. We are all products of change and chance and choice. We choose our moves, and we are the co-designers of our future. These are going to be 10 areas in which it will help you become better at working through uncertainty, ambiguity throughout your career, throughout this time that we're in this global crisis. These 10 items of beware of your natural impulses, we're going to examine, we're going to discuss. I'm going to deliver these solutions for you in hopes that you'll be able to utilize them as soon as you get off the webinar. Number one being beware of your natural impulses. Number two, examine your tolerance for ambiguity. Number three, open yourself up to, uncertainty. Four being break some of your rhythms, your routines, and your personal rules. Number five, control the controllables. You want to focus on making a contribution. You want to facilitate the information flow in your organization. And you want to follow the rules of improvisation, which is extremely important. So let your intention be your guide, and you want to use what it is that life brings to you. The learning objective here is to learn the unusual psychology of dealing with unpredictability, the counterintuitive codes that help you manage yourself under low visibility and under high stakes. So let's begin. Let's begin to talk about these 10 codes that enable us to unhack uncertainty. The very first one is beware of your natural instincts. What we have a tendency to do as human beings, we go into survival mode. And so survival tells us that our instincts.
Dr. Jackson, I'm sorry to interrupt. just realize that the presentation is not moving as per the slides that you're referring to. So it's you know, we only see the slide one. Could you share it on the slideshow mode?
Let me. Can you see the slides now? Because I didn't push anything different.
Yeah, we did. We can see them right here at the top at the beginning where it says start the slideshow. If you could just start it from there, it'll go through for you, and just, you know, use your arrows to control it.
Can you see the slideshow? Because I'm seeing it on this end.
We don't see anything moving. Can you take the arrow and just move it down to the second slide then, since you have it in preview?
Yes, I will.
Okay. I wonder if it's screen. If you like, you can turn it over to me, and I will just move it for you if you're having an internet issue.
Yes.
Lisa, if you have the presentation, do you want to share screen yourself?
Yeah, I can do that.
Because I'm saying
attendees, thank you so much for being patient. Just give us a minute while we figure this out. And thank you for letting us know about this.
Okay. Okay, show screen.
Show screen. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. Not a problem. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen. I'm seeing the screen.
Oh, okay, then. So I'm going to start it right here from the beginning, the slideshow, and you just let me know. Is this where you want to be, Dr. Terry?
That is great.
Okay, so if you don't mind, just quickly start from the beginning. We can start our recording over. And so without further ado, what I'd like to do is introduce Dr. Terry, who has his PhD in information technology, who's taught Fortune 500 companies and is a senior executive with over 25 years of progressive leadership in sales, marketing, operations management, and business consulting. He is a member of CIO Review Magazine, 10 Most Promising Leadership Development Solution Providers, and Thinkers 360 of Top 20 Global Leadership. So without further ado, I give you Dr. Terry Jackson.
Thank you so very much, Lisa. Thank you so very much. Apologize for the technical issues on this end. But again, this is Hacking Uncertainty, the counterintuitive code for resilience during times of disruption and change. Next slide, please. Change. Sometimes you see it coming. Other times you get a feeling inside that something vague, a vague sense of something big or something different is coming down the pipe. But now and then what happens, it takes you by total surprise. Regardless of how it approaches, though, change usually comes with a travel companion known as uncertainty. Uncertainty, when you're dealing with uncertainty, you have to understand that it is unmanageable. The only thing that you can manage in uncertainty is yourself. So to seek control is like trying to rearrange the fog. You can't rearrange the fog. Manage yourself. There is power in managing you because that is what you're free to control. We all are products of chance and choice. We choose our moves and we are the co-designers of our future. So that is how we handle uncertainty. Next slide. Here are 10 points in order to navigate the crisis of uncertainty. These 10 points we will give you information today that will allow you to be able to manage and navigate uncertainty regardless of your organization, regardless of your community, regardless of your career. These 10 points here: beware of your natural impulses, examine your tolerance for ambiguity, open yourself to uncertainty, break some of your rhythms, routines, and personal rules, control the controllables, focus on making a contribution, facilitate information flow in your organization. The learning objectives here will be, next slide, please. The learning objective will be, you will learn how the unusual psychology of dealing with unpredictability, a counterintuitive code for managing yourself under the conditions of low visibility and high stakes. The very first code in the 10 codes to unhack uncertainty is beware of your natural instincts. What normally happens as human beings is that we are creatures of habit. And so as we get into survival mode, what happens is our instincts tell us to go and do what is comfortable, and it tells us to do what we've done before in the past. However, in this particular situation of uncertainty, you want to be careful and you want to do just the opposite of what your instincts are telling you, because we are in a time of uncertainty. There's a roadmap that we have never been familiar with before. And what we have to do is sit back and think about what we do and do just the opposite. Because as I mentioned before, we're at the intersection of instinct and intellect. And now we have a time to paint our own picture moving forward. The second point is look for game-changing information. Look for the game-changing information that's at the periphery of your industry. Meaning, what's happening in your industry, what should be happening in your industry, and what isn't happening in your industry. This is the time for curiosity to drive innovation and creativity. Think past your natural impulses. Think past being comfortable. Become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Be curious. Be creative. Be innovative. That's what's going to drive you out of uncertainty. And see, not everything that is bad comes to hurt us. Much of what comes that's bad is an opportunity to examine, to become curious, and develop new solutions. The second point is examine your tolerance for ambiguity. Most people who have a low tolerance for ambiguity, they like the world to be very systematic, orderly, and predictable. In uncertainty, that is not the case. Uncertainty is the equivalent of chaos, and what you have to do is look for the patterns in chaos in order to work your way out of chaos, and that is the same for uncertainty. Second is people with a high tolerance for ambiguity, they find it much easier to handle open-endedness of uncertainty. You have to be able to move into the fog. It's like being a diver. Until you get down to your destination, oftentimes the water is murky, but you have to continue to trust in your instincts. You have to continue to trust in going down into the open-endedness of that ambiguity and uncertainty. Everyone has a plan until they've been hit. And so even in uncertainty, all of those plans may not necessarily determine the type of results that you're looking to drive. Wanting to know where you are and where you're going is often how we fail to go anywhere at all. And in uncertainty, those plans and those roadmaps are not there. It's one step at a time, using your curiosity and your creativity and your innovation to continue to propel you forward. The third of the 10 codes of unhacking uncertainty is open yourself up to uncertainty. You want to be able to move forward. but you have to wait, because oftentimes that same certainty of knowing that you've used before actually has us where we are today. That uncertain situation, it turns us into what we call fake currency. And life oftentimes doesn't give us a reliable currency in regarding to the certainty of our future. That so-called certainty that we carry around with us is actually phony, because we really don't know what the future has to hold. So don't be defensive. You have to embrace uncertainty. You have to allow uncertainty to unfreeze your thinking, become curious, become creative, become innovative, and you have to seek possibilities. So uncertainty is the very condition that propels man to unfold his powers, and that's through thinking about how do you move forward. The fourth key point is break some of your rhythms. As human beings, as creatures of habit, we have a tendency to do the same things all the time. But the best antidote for uncertainty is to bring newness to your world. More unfamiliarity, be more proactive and self-directive. Choose new routes to work. Read different magazines. Attend new restaurants. Change the sequence in how you do your job and how you move each day. It is those mundane habits that keeps us caged and doesn't allow us to embrace uncertainty. So we want to be able to deal with uncertainty on your own terms, and speed is the key. I think I've heard a term before: learn how to learn, fail, and fail fast and keep moving. So what you want to do is practice what is the art of uncertainty, and that is to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. The fifth of the 10 codes is control the uncontrollables. The most common mistake that is made during the time of uncertainty is the mismanagement of self. And self is the only thing that you can truly control. So you want to focus on you during the times of uncertainty, what you're doing, what you're not doing, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. You want to maintain that power over yourself. You want to drive your own agenda. You want to bring tough issues to the surface, even when it's uncomfortable. You want to be present and explore what's in the now, and because the now is the only time you have, because the future isn't guaranteed, even though we're moving into uncertainty. The most common want that people give up is their power. People have to be able to think. You don't give up your power. Control who you are. The sixth point is to focus on contributing. Don't become self-centered. Be mindful of the needs of other people. You want to fight the impulse to sideline yourself. You should remain active with the group or your organization, and you want to be more careful and more mindful and more grateful and more giving. Uncertainty feeds on idleness and inertia. So you want to stay productive in times of uncertainty. You want to invest yourself fully in the situation and fully in your organization. You know, contributing is an enabling approach to dealing with uncertainty. It's strengthening one's sense of self. And real generosity toward the future lies in giving all to the present. And that was by a great quote by Albert Camus. The seventh component is to facilitate information flow, which is extremely important. The more people know, the better they can act. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. And that's a quote by George Bernard Shaw. And oftentimes, in order to ensure that communication is taking place, we must ask those open-ended questions to clarify that the information that we are actually disseminating is being interpreted as we want it to be interpreted. So ask those questions of your fellow peers about to ensure that their communication is clear and succinct. Do not add to the fog of uncertainty. So you want to communicate as often as you possibly can, and you want to communicate very boldly. Oftentimes it is the face-to-face communication that is the best during the times of uncertainty. Oftentimes emails or text messages oftentimes leaves a lot to be interpreted. And as a result of that, that face-to-face communication is what is needed. Body language is extremely important in face-to-face communication. It helps to eliminate that uncertainty. And watching for those non-verbal communication cues is extremely important. So get to the next person, help them communicate in the same fashion, help them open up. It improves the flow of information within your organization. Follow the rules of improv, and this is extremely important because, you know, as you navigate uncertainty, it's like performing on stage without a script or rehearsal. You must ad lib. So you have to be able to sense the situation, sense your environment, sense your peers, understand where they are, and you move forward together. So you have to focus on the here and the now. You want to work at the top of your intelligence. So you want to be extremely focused on those topics and tasks that you're trying to complete and to move forward. Because the better you're focused, the better you're working at the top of your intelligence. You want to avoid judging what is going on, except in terms of whether it needs help, but you want to move with the flow, be less judgmental and more results oriented. You know, improv is actually about character change. You want to be changed by the revelations that you discover as you move through uncertainty, as you handle those tasks and working through ambiguity. And improvisation is just too good to lead to chance, right? Improvisation also correlates with innovation and creativity. The more new information you discover about your organization and about the competitor or the marketplace, that's how you create new products and services that enables you to go to the market differently and to be a market leader. The ninth point is let intention be your guide, or let intention guide you. The future must be shrouded with uncertainty, may be shrouded with uncertainty, but however, you can still decide how and where you wish to go. Ultimately, controlling you is the key to uncertainty, and you can go wherever you choose to go if you navigate it well. To get clear on your intention, stop obsessing about what is not within your control and work with what is in your control. You want to clear your mind and re-engage with purpose and passion. And as Simon Sinek says, purpose is your why. That is the mere existence of you and your organization. And so you want to work with purpose, and you want to fuel that purpose with passion. Your intention serves as your North Star. It pulls you toward your aiming point and reduces uncertainty. An intention, it serves as your compass. It is your magnet. Look at your North Star and understand where it is. The last point to hack uncertainty is use what life brings you. Move and the way will open. Oftentimes we have to act our way to thinking versus thinking our way to acting. That's the difference, because if I act first before I think, then when I move two steps, it puts me in a new reality. I must assess that new reality and then decide the way forward, whether that way forward is a new product, whether that way forward is a new service. Consider acting your way to thinking versus thinking your way to acting. And, you know, what if you perceive uncertainty as being here to serve a purpose? And it does serve a purpose. It serves the purpose of getting us to think, getting us to be innovative, getting us to be creative, getting us to be curious. What if uncertainty holds more possibility, far more promising than the path you're traveling? And it probably does, because oftentimes, again, it causes us to think, and as many people say, think outside of the box. And the last point is trust only movement. Life happens at a level of events, not words. In a time of uncertainty, you have to move. The roadmap may not be clear, but what you have to do is move. And that movement, as I indicated earlier, will help set up for you a new reality. I've just covered the 10 points of what it means and what it takes to unhack uncertainty in times of disruption and change.